Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and oh, look at that. The sun's reflecting. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how no love is ever wasted. Your love is never wasted. So if you sincerely love people, right? I have this heart. Then anything you did out of sincere love is not wasted. Now, this sounds like, oh, this lovely thing that we're just talking about it. And it is lovely, but there's a larger picture that's going on here in all of these videos that I didn't even realize. I just stay in my lane. You learn to do your job with excellence and in sincerity, and learn how to be an independent thinker. And so a lot of my videos are teaching you how to become independent of the narcissistic mindset, the world system, if you want to understand it that way. Not our world system. It's like maybe you could call it the underlying current within the world system, because it's anyway. So let's put it under this category of no love is ever wasted. Now, let me start with, I was watching someone's video this week, and they were talking about how difficult it is to keep walking the narrow road. We'll keep saying it like that, right? And so what happens, I was getting a verse, I was getting these words of Jesus. And I always say I welcome all religions, because I want everyone to be equipped with truth, right? But he says, a house divided against itself cannot stand, all right? And so if you have different warring parts within yourself, did I say my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer? I'm here at my office. I am a psychologist in my day job, but I take out an hour or so every week. This has been my plan. What I've been doing, what I set aside for you guys to equip you. And so, so what happens is, okay, so when Jesus says a house divided against itself cannot stand, and so if you have parts of yourself that are in loyalty to this lower aspect of yourself. So we have egotism, and a soul. I always say you are a soul, you're in a body. That's quoting C.S. Lewis and George MacDonald. And Plato talks about this as well. But in the church, they call it the world, the flesh, and the devil. So just understand these systems in operation. When you're operating, let's say, in highest truth or highest consciousness, like I work with people, and we're learning how to detach from all of the old programming from your childhood. So let's just say, in childhood, if one of your parents beat you or something, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Your parents could just withdraw, and you learn how to please them and be a pleaser, a people pleaser. When you learn to be a people pleaser, you're acting upon ego, you're not acting upon your soul. And so you're learning actually to betray yourself, and consistently betray yourself in order to survive, all right? And so people learn to keep working in the ego system, and ego system is one of lack. And so you develop this lack mentality, like, I better please these people, or else as a child you'd get squished, all right? And so, okay, so I'm already getting back the song. I recorded the song for us because the song that was coming, I use songs to teach, because now what happened is you got this message over and over as a child, is like, you are not good enough, you have to do this, you have to prove your worth, you have to earn your worth, you're in transactional relationships, you have to, they don't teach you actually to have real soulful relationships with other people as well. And so people just learn how to, try to build themselves up on social media or wherever and try to get your worth from superficial things. And it's really sad because then people forgot how to have real relationships. And so just yesterday, I put out this song that was coming to me yesterday morning because I was preparing for this for today. And it was Here I Go Again by Whitesnake, right? And so it goes, here I go again on my own, all right? Going down the only road I've ever known. All right, so what this weird gift that's in me, right, that I have been using, it's something that I have used to help me organize the information coming at me and coming from within me as a soul person that doesn't want to live in ego, that wants to free other people. Because when you live in egotism, if Jesus said the greatest commandment right now, I give you a new commandment, to love as I have loved you. Just understand this as consciousness, as Jesus loved with this agape love. This is divine love. I have this little plaque over there that says God is love. It's in 1 John 4, 7, and 8, right? If you want to know the verses. And so it says when you love, you know God, because God is love. And so go think that we would be in a system that trains you away from real love, and you're craving it all the time, but you're not getting it. And so what I found is, as I teach people how to live more in your soul instead of your egotism, then you learn more how to operate from a soul level and not transactional egotism level, which is always, it's never enough. It's like a black hole. It's a temporary fixes. It's addictions. What do you think addictions are? All right. So just break down all of the addictions in the world. It's this temporary fix for, the word temperance is to delay the immediate gratification for the greater good that's more remote. All right. And so temperance is one of the fruits of the spirit. It's one of the virtues. And so if you're operating in lack, you don't know how to delay the immediate gratification. All you're like, I just have to keep grabbing onto this and grabbing onto this, because you think if you delay, then you're going to be empty again. The world system teaches you that. Our own flesh keeps saying that. No, I need more, because our flesh is never satisfied. The devil, if you look at how it's presented in the Gospels, how when Jesus went out to the wilderness, how he was tempted, go look into the mystery of all of that and what's happening. What he tempts him first to make food, which is your bodily flesh. He tempts him to throw himself off of the temple, which is trying to show himself to be this miracle worker, right? And then he also tells him, I will make you famous in all of these places. Now go look in history and in our present time, who has been selling out for fame. And I'm not judging anybody, because I understand operating from the lack mentality, because a lot of things happened in my own childhood that had me operating in lack mentality and keep thinking that I had to please, like, let's say a ghoster, someone who just ghosted me and walked out of my life. And so because I loved this person, right? And I'm just so going back to, and I'll go back to the song, because my heart was open to just love, right? Then I was like, because I had never been ghosted before, why would someone just walk out of my life and ghost me? And so out of that, I went through 4 years or so of a dark night of the soul, little over, I don't know, anyway, over 3 years of this soul searching, understanding, wait a second, why am I giving my worth all of a sudden to this person? Why am I not understanding? I thought my worth was this, but I trusted this person to be loving and at least give an explanation why they wanted to go a different direction, and so, which eventually I got a couple sentences from the person, but it's very strange to me. And anyway, it's more complicated than that, but it doesn't matter. It's because, guess what? Because I kept not trying to make this person all bad in my mind, because I loved this person, right, as a friend or whatever, as another soul-bearing person on this earth. It kept it kept bringing up whatever was in me. I mean, I'd gone to therapy so many years before that, and I have been teaching and helping people, really genuinely helping people. That's the cover of my book that I wrote over 19 years ago. I wrote that book, right? And I've written 2 other books as well, and I'm writing one on trauma right now. And so it's like I studied all this stuff, but I didn't know that this ego mentality and lack mentality, and when you are trying to be a pleaser to narcissists and that system, to toxic relationships, let's just call it that, then you keep yourself suppressed. Your gifts aren't actually being used in this world to the highest extent that they can. I hope you're following me. Anyway, if you don't get any of that stuff, watch it again, ask me in the comments, or but what I found, what's helped me so much, and I was already doing this way before this ghosting event happened, is that you can listen to pop songs, and that's why I'm teaching you how to do this. And now the other night I decided to go live. I think it was Wednesday night or Tuesday night, a live, and I did a 2-hour teaching on one. And so you'll see how this works. Watch how I was teaching. I didn't know it was going to be 2 hours. I just went live. I was tired, but I was like, let's do this, right? I wanted to give you guys one full example that was free, that's on YouTube, because I'm not getting paid on YouTube yet at all. I've not got paid. And so, because you have to meet a certain qualification for 4,000 hours watched or whatever, I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm not paying attention to it right now. And so I want to give you guys this before this time runs out. So what I found is this way to listen to pop songs, and I'll teach you how the pop songs, because they're in our world system, they're teaching you about the ego path. But because there are souls that are creating these songs, right? We're all souls in a body. Our souls in the creative realm read this Orthodox priest who was also a physicist, brilliant man, Pavel Florensky. If you look up my name on Twitter, Dr. Cheryl M, it's just M. And Pavel Florensky, just look up Pavel, P-A-V-E-L, and you'll see this quote. It's this great quote. He talks about when your creative mind, you go up into the etheric realms. Plato is talking about this all the time. And it's like you're getting the straight information, and then you come down with the symbols and you put it in song. So they don't know necessarily, not all artists know that when they're getting quiet, it's like your soul is trying to communicate these hidden messages. And it's not weird, it's not that esoteric. It's just, so watch, okay? So I started singing this Whitesnake song that I was like, oh, I know what that song is, right? And I had to look it up, and then I just played it yesterday for us so that we'd have it, so you can reference that song. Because for the next part that I do, when I go off to my own website, I can't quote the lyrics because I don't know, and I can't sing the song because I don't own the rights to that song. That's Whitesnake's song. And so, but I'll quote it briefly. I can quote it as like, here I go again on my own. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. All right. And so if you look at that from the soul path, you're not alone. Every time I see the word alone, it's like, no, we're all one. We're all one with divine creator. We all came from the oneness of God. But it feels like when you're in the lack mentality, or, okay, look, when you're following the soul path again, it feels like you're all alone because you have to leave. And Jesus says you can't follow me unless you leave your mother and your father. You leave that whole system of operating, of trying to please them. We learn you're gonna die unless you please this system. And so it's really entrenched into us. And so what I found with these pop songs is that as we learn, let's say I taught you for a whole hour how to follow your soul path. Now, if you're on Instagram or one of those other platforms where it cuts off around here, go over to YouTube, because I'm going to give my YouTube channel, it's Dr. Cheryl Meyer, another 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to go till about 20 or 21. And then I put the rest on my website so I can start getting paid for the work that I'm working. So I work my whole life to get this information to you. Now, it sounds really simple, but it's like no, this is gold. This is gold, what I'm teaching you. And so we learn these old patterns with our parents, with our childhood, with the way the system teaches us how to operate. You have to earn your worth. No, you're worth. You're worth because you're created in the image and likeness of God. If you weren't worth, then Christ himself wouldn't have come to reconcile you with a perfect God. He wouldn't have offered his life for you. Now, you don't have to accept that. You don't have to take that. But there's a way for you to be reconnected back with a perfect God. Now, I like the mindfulness people. Like, I really do like Eckhart Tolle. I've been to a lot of his classes, you know, and I made a lot of videos. He teaches you how to be really present, how to detach from egotism. Now, what I found with my clients and with people that aren't Christians, then detaching from egotism helps take you down this path of truth. Now, where there are a lot of people that are Christians that are completely attached to a religious egotism, and they don't know anything about detaching from their egotism. And so there's a lot in that movement of learning how to detach from these thoughts that keep saying, no, you're worthless. But you also you can't just make up. There's still a thing called forgiveness. I won't go into it right now, but all right. So when you love and you don't want to make someone else the bad guy, then what happens is you start, because you love, because your heart's still committed to being loving, God will use everything that surfaces from, like, let's say from feeling rejected by someone or feeling put down or made fun of or rejected from society or rejected from going against the norms or rejected in all these different ways because you have this empathic understanding. So any of us, when you finally detach from feeding the narcissist and understand these systems want to keep you in addictions. When you are, it's like I said at the beginning, a house divided against itself can't stand. When you keep feeding your addictions, that's like feeding a narcissist that's living inside of you. Now, don't beat yourself up about this. Start understanding your worth and you'll know, okay? So if our parents kept working on egotism, then they taught you there's no other system than egotism, feeding egotism. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I have like 1 million, well, not 1 million, I have 900 other videos, 900 plus other videos that will go into this. Watch the one called Essence and Personality. I recommend that one. And How to Hack Your Life. There's 1 and 2. And there's one where I just made the cover and I can't even remember what I put on it, but that's what's coming to me, so I trust. It's like this black cover that says, "This changes everything." So I recommend those to learn more about what I'm talking about. If you go listen to how I sung that song yesterday, all right, I'm learning how to play the guitar better on that, but that's superficial. That's not as important as when you, like, I trust that it came up as an answer key for this teaching, all right? And so if you listen to that as there's part of your soul that's trying to communicate through that song and part of your egotism. And so it's like, if you're like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. Let's just look at it the soul path for now. And I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time. I choose not to live according to feeding this outer flesh part of myself, running around trying to get my approval from people that don't know your worth. But you don't know your worth, just like I didn't know my worth. When I keep looking for my worth out here, if I look even in the church to tell me what my worth is, it's still out here. You don't want to make an idol of anybody. I'm not saying that there aren't people like St. Francis of Assisi, St. Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross, Tolkien himself, C.S. Lewis. There are people that are true within the system that were part of the church, but they were teaching you this narrow path within the narrow path, right? And so they're teaching you these high truths. I'm like, I could just tell you guys, like I could invite you, read The Lord of the Rings about 7 times and then come back to me, because I've been reading it once a year now, or more. I was listening to it all the time. And so there's a verse that says, God works for the good. God works for the everything. It's in Romans, and it's basically, I'll get the gist because my mind's in this mystic mindset right now. This is why, if you don't have this mystic mindset, it will look like I just went blah, 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 blah. I know it will, because I have a logical mind too that's going blah, blah. What are you saying? All right. And so it's like, there's two verses I was thinking of earlier. He that began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. And all things worked for good for those who are called according to his purpose. All right. And so when you take all of your childhood or all the bad things you've done or all the addictions you were into or whatever, and you offer all of it to God, and you say, and I have a video, I think it's called I Begin Again. And when you say, I begin again, I give you all of it. Help me. There's a Psalm 51, wash me and I will be whiter than snow. Purify my heart, O God. Make me a clean heart. Renew a right spirit within me. I was operating under egotism spirit, under an illusion, a delusion and an illusion. Now I want to go back to this soul path. All right. And so that song was coming to me so great, because it's talking about, here I am again. I came back to that clarity. You get this moment of clarity, and I'm like, hold on to that dearly, because, and I've said that in a lot of my videos, it's like, I'm so clear right now. It's like I'm above the water, and I want to explain everything to you while it's clear, while I'm in this great place. Because then after that, you get sucked back in. Someone starts attacking you. Someone starts putting you down, and they gaslight you, and then you start gaslighting yourself. This is just the pattern that happens. And then you don't know how to get out of that. And then all of your gifts are suppressed for a little bit while you're doing, it's training. Okay. You're training like the Karate Kid, or like Jedi training. You're actually learning in all of that. As you surrender all of this to God, God will keep helping you. There's a psalm that says, I think it's Psalm 34, something about, or 30, it's between 30 and 34, because we just read it this week, that was like, even though the righteous fall, God will make, I like it when the light shines like that. God will make you to be able to stand, to keep standing, just keep persevering, and keep walking towards the truth. Now that song was talking about, I'm just saying the very beginning of it, but all of the verses in the song are teaching you about, here I am again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Okay, that goes back to your knowing, your intuition, your inner knowing, what Plato calls your soul remembrance. You have a knowing of what is true and what is false, and you always were like, this feels like betrayal to go use addictions, to go keep running, chasing after someone who doesn't know your worth, right? To keep trying to get them to see your worth. And it's like, no, that's this pattern in childhood. Because if you're a child, if you're 2 and your parents don't know your worth, you got to live another 16 years with them. Why do you think we're on this cycle trying to get them to see your worth? You learned how to do that over and over again so that you would stay alive, so they'd keep feeding you, because they say, don't bite the hand that feeds you, okay? And so you learn that system of operating. So I'm not going to beat myself up because I kept trying to ask the person, I don't understand. Why are you rejecting me? Like, instead of going, wait, look, take a step back, let that person go. As much as you love them so much because you see them on a soul level. This is sometimes what the empaths can see, the narcissist. And I'm not saying all people are narcissists. We all can have narcissistic tendencies. When you're following egotism, you're operating in narcissism. Guess what? When you're trying to please another person, to try to talk them into getting to know your worth, that's a manipulation. That's an ego system. That's idolizing that other person, all right? And so like a drifter, you're drifting away from this ego pattern. You were born to take this noble path. Christ calls you on a noble path. Frodo and Bilbo went on a noble path. Aragorn was on a noble path. Read The Lord of the Rings, read The Hobbit. I invite you to do that. You don't have to, it's not for everybody, but the Narnia books are showing you the noble path as well. Plato was talking about the noble path. Christ lived the noble path. It didn't look like it was a good idea for him to die on Friday, but he conquered death in his crucifixion and created a way to bring us back to perfection, to clean you, so that the righteous requirements of the law of God, are met, and you can have them met in you. So because you can never by egotism try to prove yourself to God. Now the church oftentimes will get mixed up and try to teach you how, some just not as aware or conscious churches, and even some that are trying really hard to be conscious, but they're in egotism. When you're in egotism, just understand that's not the soul path, right? And it says the devil will appear as an angel of light. So he'll try to present that this is the soul path. Take all these spiritual classes, then you'll be spiritual enough, you know? Anyway, so going back to that song, here I am again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. You have to be willing to walk alone and not, it looks like you're alone, but you're with the creator of the universe. You're all one with all of the people who have taken the noble path. You're not by yourself at all. And so it's like, here I am again on my own. My gosh, I'm getting a vision of a pop star. This one that I was called to start praying for. Because it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Who cares if 1 million people like your posts, you know? It's like, what are you doing? I have this wonderful quote from Callisto Swear, a metropolitan. So he was an archbishop of the Orthodox Church. And he said, Christ's actions were powerful because he acted out of stillness. Right? You can do all of these amazing actions that people think are so great, but you're in the world system. So of course they're going to think it's great. I can be making these videos where 200 people view them, but if it's coming from this really deep, sincere, still place, we can change the world. You can. It says, there's a verse that says, do not despise small beginnings. Jesus was born in a stable, right? With animals. Very small beginning in a very small town. I've been to Bethlehem a long time ago. All right, I've already gone way too long on my YouTube. I'm going to go into the paid part of this. So I invite you to invest your money if you'd like to do that. Not because I have to have your money, but because you're helping me to keep bringing this way of freedom. Now I really think I know this because I have a webinar, and you can go watch the webinar over and over again, and it's free. And I've been paying for it this whole time to be hosted on a site for people to watch it for free. Anyway, because I got this insight that it's like, if you watch what I just said one more time, let's say, then you will not get the same thing that the people are getting that are investing the money. I'm not trying to do a lack thing. You're not missing anything. I won't go into that explanation anymore. I just know that I have over 900 videos on YouTube. You can watch that and you can get all the information that you need. But I encourage you to take action, to participate. If you understand what I'm talking about, take action. Don't just sit there and take from me. I invite you to do more than that, to give back if you're called to, right? Don't just keep taking. All right, so I'm going to go into the other part now. All right. Okay, so welcome to the second part. And I think I didn't say too much, so I'm going to keep the first part on for us. So you're just watching this as one fluid